Hello, and welcome to the Mark Mates Comics YouTube show. As always, supported by the Lakes International Comic Art Festival, my great friends. If you're there, please say hello. If you're watching, I can read some comments. I can do now Friday. You might have noticed that I got a little bit of a haircut. Yes, my wife went to town on my hair with the clippers, and this is what she created. It's quite nice. I've still got a bald spot at the back. But, you know, that's what happens, isn't it? You know, don't worry. Oh, I have a young man called Hilary Barter saying hello. Hello, Hilary. How are you? Nice to have you. So as I mentioned, yes, we are supported by the Lakes International Comic Art Festival, a great celebrator of comic art here in the UK and worldwide, international. They have creators come over to the Lake District in Kendal in the Lake District every October from all over the world, and I've met some amazing people. And if you get a chance to go there, I suggest you should do. As always, you can find me on all social media as Mark Makes Comics. That's Mark with a C, M-A-R-C. I'm on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and MySpace, and Etsy. I have a store on Etsy where you can buy some of my comics. And some of you have been doing that. And each Sunday, as you know, everybody's popping in here now. Gareth, hello, Leo says hello. Ava, Lou and George, Tessa, Douglas and Iris, Billy, Wilson, George has had a lockdown haircut as well. It's lockdown haircut week. Just get some clippers and just go to work on your hair. I kind of did this bit here with the kitchen scissors at one point. It was fantastic. I strongly recommend it. So yes, on Friday we did Freestyle Friday, another great round of you guys suggesting things for me to draw, and I drew them live here on my board. And whilst I was doing that, I was throwing them back at you. And you've all been sharing your drawings with me. I have my little demos that I upload. Apologies that I haven't uploaded a new one since the Lenny the Lettuce demo, which you've still been sending me some drawings of, which has really been great. I did one yesterday, had a slight technical hitch, so I've got to re-record it. It's the way it goes. This whole internet explosion thing that we're all suddenly having to go online, and it's throwing up all these other issues as well, but we're all getting there. So if you stick with me, I'll get another one coming on, which hopefully will be either later today or first thing in the morning. So you can have your breakfast in the morning, a nice healthy breakfast to fight off the coronavirus, and then you can do some drawing. And it's going to be, let's draw a cool cat. A cool cat. And then later in the week, I might even upload another one. And obviously we've got Freestyle Friday coming this Friday as well. Now, this Friday, this session today, we're going to be here for another sort of 40 minutes, is all about comic book covers. If you remember last week, we did comic strips. I showed you the step-by-step process of how to start your own comic strip. And we went all around. I showed you where you position balloons and you position characters and you show where the characters exist. In fact, my good friend Hilary Barter, you won't mind me saying this, every time I make a comic, I think of Hilary, because many, many years ago, I shared some of my work with Hilary when I was sort of trying to get back into comics and trying to make a go of it. And he was very kind to look at those and give me what you can only describe as constructive criticism. Now, sometimes constructive criticism can get you right there, bang, right in the face. But if you listen and take the bits that really connect with you, and you listen to what's being said to you, you will actually find that you'll improve. There's no point in going, what does that person know? I know better than they do. Because if you're showing them, you want their opinion. And sometimes their opinion might not necessarily negative, but it might be not exactly what you want to hear. They can't all go, you're amazing, keep doing that exactly as you're doing it. They want you to improve, right? The same way as I do. I love what you guys are drawing, but I also want you to improve, but not necessarily improve in terms of your skill, improve in terms of your confidence. And that's what it is. It's all about having the confidence to go, I know how to do this, and I'm going to do it. Everyone's is going to look different anyway. So there's no right or wrong there. But in terms of the basics of putting things together, there's a little bit of a pattern. And that's what we discussed last week with how we make the comics. We start off, we have space for our balloons and our characters. We show where they live, and we go through all the different things. We do some zoom ins and some zoom outs. But we never just do close-ups all the time. I was listening, Hilary. And we don't just do close-ups all the time. We really play around with it. And once you get the basics, you can then really start to play around. And so I showed you all that. And then I set you off with one panel at the end, which was actually the first panel, but I came to that at the end, was hot dog and mustard, can't go to the park, So these guys here, Hot Dog and Mustard, they couldn't go to the park, and why? And a number of you have sent in comic strips, and they've been great, and you've really shown me you can go off on these crazy. So it wasn't like they can't go to the park because some of the reasons why we can't go to the park. You can still go, but you just can't hang out at the park the way you used to be able to, and go on the swings and the slides and touch everything. You've just got to get in there. And you've got to get in there, and you've got to have your fun and get out, and then be safe, all right? So they couldn't go to the park, but not because of those reasons. They couldn't go to the park because of crazy reasons. Let's have some crazy reasons, right? And so you guys delivered, as always. So this week, I thought we're going to move away from comic strips. We've done the strips, and you guys are just, I feel like you guys have got it. You keep doing the comic strips, and we'll be fine. Hillary's saying to me here, constructive criticism can be a kick in the butt. It can indeed. I hope it wasn't too tough. It wasn't tough, Hillary, at all. No, it was just what I needed. If I hadn't have listened to Hillary back then, I probably wouldn't be here talking to you guys now. So I don't know whether you can blame Hillary for that or not. But one way or another, this is thanks to Hillary. In part, Hillary's got me here, and as all the other guys did. Sergio Aragonés, I listened to him. I studied his amazing comics, and Bill Watterson and all these other fine folks. So please listen and be inspired by what I'm saying to make your own comics. So yes, today we are going to do comic book covers, right? Comic book covers are amazing. Remember, stay hydrated. One for me, one for my homies. Okay, I advise you all to stay hydrated throughout. I have, as we always know, my fantastic decanter. If you've got a decanter nearby, feel free to decant away. Okay. And so comic book covers. So this is a comic book cover here, and here are some of my comic book covers, some of the comics that some of you guys have maybe already knew already, or maybe have been ordering and checking out. So I've got a few comic book covers here, as you can see. Nice and big and bold and bright. Okay, these are some of mine, and they are available to order from my store if you're interested. And then here are some of the others. So these are some of the comics that I used to read when I was younger, and still do now, you know, and these kind of things. And you'll notice that all these covers have a similar kind of thing. There's the Ninja Turtles. Look at that, the Ninja Turtles movie adaptation. Look at that classic action right there. Popeye, everyone loves Popeye, of course. You know, we've got a Popeye here. And this one here from my friend Lou Stringer, UK cartoonist, another guy who really inspired me and gave me great constructive criticism and encouraged me with my work. So I have big thanks to Lou as well. And Lou did this comic called Combat Colin, right, as you can see. Now, the thing, as you can see with all these comics here and my comics here, look at the positioning. Yes, the title is always in pretty much the same kind of place. It's always at the top, right? So it's always, like with the comic book panels, there's certain rules to apply to your layouts, your comic book covers, and your comic book designs that you can then have once you get confident enough, you can start doing different things with them. And so that's what I'm going to show you today. So I did this little fun thing here just to show you. Comic book covers, we have the title here, we have this here. So I'm going to take you through the basics of creating your own comic book cover, okay? Who is ready? Now, we all know, in order to be ready, you've got to have a few things. You've got to have your drink, okay? Nice mug. It's a dog with a bow tie, and he's kind of doing that. Yep, I did that. I made that. I drew it right on the mug. Not as easy as it looks. Right, so you've got to have your hydration, you've got to have some paper. Obviously, get some paper. It can be A4 paper, it can be A3 paper, it can be whatever size paper you want, okay? You might have a huge table in your mansion if you're drawing in the West Wing, while mother and father are somewhere else. Maybe they're playing darts or something like that. So, yes, you might have huge tables. You might even have A2 paper. Whatever size paper you've got is fantastic. And also, what are we doing? We have our pens. Shake your pens. Yes. I want to hear those pens. All right, okay, fantastic. Fantastic. Lots of those fantastic colours. I use these fantastic markers because they're just nice and bright and bold. You get these fat lines and thin lines. So, without further ado, let's fold this over here. Say bye to this picture. What a beautiful picture. Right, okay. So, a nice blank piece of paper. And we always know what we do first. We start. I'm going to do in the dark color today, so you can really get. So we always draw the line. Okay, we always get the line in here. Just going to pop that there. We do the line around about here. Okay, so I know to not go below the line, but you guys know this show even better than that. You know that I draw a fish here, obviously. we always draw a fish because on this show, the rule is you shout it. Yes, the rule is yes, nothing below the fish. Shout it out, ladies and gentlemen. Nothing below the fish, okay? Yes. If I draw anything below the fish, you're not going to see it. You can hardly see the fish. You can see his eyes, but he's there. Look. He's there, look at him. But if I draw below there could be all kinds of things going on, but you wouldn't see it, okay? So it's all going to be here. So, I want you guys now to get your piece of paper, and we're going to draw a nice rectangle, this kind of size, like this, okay? So draw a nice rectangle, okay? This is going to be our comic book cover, okay? And so, as we discussed with these comics, these lovely comics that we have here, my comics and these comics, okay, is that the title goes at the top. Now, I want you guys to do, you can either, nothing below the fish, that's right, Patrick Army Boy. Patrick Army Boy, that's a name, isn't it? Sounds made up to me, Patrick Army Boy. Okay, so, very similar to, imagine this was like the comic panel that we talked about last week, where we had our imaginary kind of dotted line to go, well, this is where the words go, and then the characters and the scene goes down and kind of down here. But the words go up here. The same thing applies. The title goes up here. So even if you drew the picture first, you wanted to draw the picture first, you could do. We're not going to do that today. But if you wanted to draw your picture first, that's fine. But always remember to leave this space here kind of free for your words. You might want, because sometimes, for instance, look at this one here. Sometimes the picture goes over the top of the name. Okay. So sometimes in order to achieve that. And in fact, also, you might have, let me show you this other one while we're here. He's on the show, he's watching live. Look at this one here from my friend Hillary. An amazing cover here. Doctor Strange, I love this. This is a comic called What Though? It's like a parody comic. It was kind of like Marvel's answer to a Mad Magazine in a way. And it just had all these spoofs and goofy versions of superheroes that you know. And Hillary would draw, I read this recently, Hillary would draw the corner boxes as well, but he'd actually draw this straight onto the artwork, okay? And then all the other elements would then be positioned around the artwork, so the artworks kind of come first. So if you wanted to do the artwork first, that's fine, but just make sure you've got to take into account, or sometimes in comics, other people do certain bits. So you do the drawing, then they'll do the letters and all that kind of thing. So you've got to think of it, you've got to be considerate. The way we have to in life, be considerate of others, particularly at the moment, really be considerate of others about what you're doing and where you're walking and stuff like that. And it's the same thing with comics, all right? So we're going to do this first. So if you remember, about 2-3 weeks ago, we did superheroes and villains, okay? And you might remember the superhero character that we created live. It was a live creation of a superhero character. And he was called One Long Arm Man, okay? One Long Arm Man. So I thought today we should do the comic book cover for One Long Arm Man, okay? So I'm going to write it here. So you can do the same, or if you've suddenly out of nowhere, like Patrick Army Boy, he might have some kind of character in mind already. You can do your own character's name here, okay? So I'm going to show you. So I want you to see, this is where we're going to do our character line. So I'm going to do one. I've not planned this out, so we'll run out of space, but that's fine. One. Okay, one long. Oops. See, look, we're running out of space, but it's fine. This is just a demonstration. Don't panic. It's not going to go to print anytime soon. One long arm. Okay, and one long arm man. Okay, there you go. Okay, there we go. Here we go. We got it in. Look at that. It's like it was planned out. One long arm man. It's the adventures of One Long Arm Man. Okay. Now, I've really crammed that in at the top, and there's a few things that maybe I'm going to move that could have sat up here if I've done it a bit smaller, but I might move them down. But the basic here is we've got our title there. You might have pulled it in a little bit, so you've got a bit more space, but I'm just showing you the basics. It's just rough. Don't worry about it, okay? So One Long Arm Man. If you've done that as well, that's fine. If you're still doing it, keep going, okay? So now I'm going to keep switching colours here to show you the different parts. So One Long Arm Man. Obviously, he has one long arm, okay? And his other arm is very, very short. So One Long Arm Man, this is kind of like the introductory issue of One Long Arm Man. So what I'm going to do, I've got my blue pen for the outside. Any words that I'm going to do in this purple color, and any actual drawing, any cartoon, I'm going to do it in orange. Okay, you can pick your own colors if you want, or you can do it all in the same color. But this is so you can see all the separate bits. Okay, so this is issue 1 of One Long Arm Man. Okay, so what I'm going to do down here is write this: fantastic first issue. Okay, fantastic first issue with an exclamation mark, and then I'm going to make the first bit nice and thick so you can see that there. First issue, fantastic first issue. Okay, and then we're going to do, so that's down there. So we've got our words now. Okay, and some comics might have a price on them. What I used to do is this. So we can do it down here if you want. You can just have a little price. You don't want to clutter up your page with too much information like that, but you can put your price. So whatever you think your comic is worth, put your price. Now, many years ago, when I was a young man, I used to make comics myself, and I used to sell them to my dear Grandma Jackson. Okay, sadly she's no longer with us. I miss her, obviously, and she used to love to read my comics. She used to sell them to her for 50p. All right, okay, and it's a coin. These days, you can't touch coins. Keep your hands off the coins at the moment, okay? It's just a lot of beeping, okay? You can't beep with a coin, okay? So I used to sell them for 50p to my grandma, okay? And so you can write here, somewhere down here, you could write your price, or up here. Sometimes it might be up here. You've done this a little bit smaller, so you can write your price on if you wish. And also, I used to have my comic company was called, I'm going to write it here, and let's have a look. The first thing I'm going to do, I want to do, no, I'm not, I'm going to leave that. Okay, so it was Weirdo Comics, and that was years ago, like 1980s, when I was reading all the other comics that I've been showing you before. And if you notice on my comics now, yes, you'll see here, like this one, Hot Dog Mustard. Weirdo Comics, I still use that now to this day. I thought it just made sense to just carry on doing that. Okay, so you can add your own little comic company if you want. In fact, let's do a fantastic first issue. I'm going to do Weirdo Comics. Okay, down here. Okay, now you can come up with a logo, a special logo for it as well if you want, or you can just write it. You can come up with, so you could do that separately. You could do that on a separate piece of paper, come up with a fantastic Weirdo Comics logo, or you could just write it on straight on like that. And think about all the different ways that you can maybe have your page. You can have the title up here. You can have the number, the issue number here. You could do all different kind of things. You can have the little thing like that. You can have your the comic book company down here. So you can do all these different things. So you can move it around. Try to stick to the rule of having the title up here, but move things around a little bit. Make things a little bit smaller if you wish as well. So now let's add the man in question, One Long Arm Man. Okay. So I think he's going to stand here, and it's the introduction to this character. So he's basically, we don't want to show anybody else. This is a focus on One Long Arm Man. Okay, so we drew One Long Arm Man with his little kind of brow here. He's not angry. He's just intense. Okay, he's just intense. So we don't draw his eyes, big wide eyes. He's kind of got his eyes half eyes, kind of like that. Okay. If you remember. But again, if you've done something totally different, you might be drawing a whole different superhero, okay? It might be Patrick Army Boy. He might be a superhero in himself, okay? So I'm going to do little eyes here, okay? And then he's got his little face bit here. So you can see this part of his face, because some superheroes like to show some of their face so they can breathe as well under their mask. He's got his nose, okay? And he's got his kind of, he's like that, okay? And then, so this is his face, and now this is his mask. But because it's not a full face mask, you don't call it a mask. And we talked about this 2 weeks ago. You call it, can anybody remember what they call it while I take a sip of my water? That's right. It's a cowl. It's a cowl, okay? Everybody say cowl, okay? Right, it's a cowl, and it kind of goes like that, okay? And One Long Arm Man has got a cape. Or has he got a cape? Did he have a cape? Yes. So he had little bows here. These are the bow thingies. It's just like a little knot. It's a little knot that he ties in his little cape, so his cape stays on. Okay. And we're going to have his cape kind of flowing around here like that. Okay. And then here is his one long arm. And this is the genius of comics, because it's coming out of here like this. And again, the reason One Long Arm Man is such a great superhero is he's a great user of space on a comic book page. And so we've got his little glove here, like that. And then he's got his superhero fist, like that. And then we have, obviously, for the detail fans, we have the, I like to do the little ding ding, the ding, another ding ding like that, a ding ding like that. Okay? Right? So we've got his one long arm there, coming out from his cape. And again, this is my style. So I kind of have things kind of popping out like that, and then we've got our cape coming down like that. You show the creases of the cape, and then maybe it comes down here as well, down there. Okay, you can see it swishing around. So one long arm man, and then we're going to do the rest of his body down here like that. So we've got his body here, and then as we discussed, he's got a belt, and it's got a little buckly thing like that. And these pens, again, are great because you can do the big fat lines, and then you can do the thin lines for the little details. So you've got the side turn on its side. You can get the thicker lines, and you do the point. You can get the thinner lines. But my tip for you here is to don't press on hard. If you press on hard like that, you're just going to get one exact same line, okay? If you kind of almost don't touch the paper, which is a really weird thing to say. How am I going to, if I'm drawing, how if I don't touch the paper, how am I going to draw? You kind of almost kind of pull away kind of thing. If you pull away and put varying kind of pressure on, you get these different thick and thin kind of lines. Look at that one, look at that. It's kind of like almost like you're using a brush, which is what these pens are. They're kind of like a very basic brush pen. And so you get these fantastic lines. So they're great for just having fun, drawing with markers, and just being crazy, okay? So back to the belt. So we're going to finish the line up there. So his arm's popping out of his cape here. It's come down around here and pop straight in there, swirling around. So this is his belt here. We've got the little thingies, the belt thingies, the little loops. Remember I always show you the loops? Where can you see them? There, the loops. These are, they're called belt thingies. Nobody really knows what they're called. Some people call them loops, but most people know they are belt thingies. Remember that, okay? And so now we have the bottom of his body here, okay? And his legs are going to come here. So I might make a decision now. Am I going to show all his leg? Can I get away with that? Tucking it down here. So let's have a look, see what I can achieve, okay? Here we go. Look at him, right? Look at this. I'm showing the full figure. Wow, amazing. And now this is totally not planned out. I had a rough idea where I was going to show you some things, but everything's a little bit chaotic. But I'm giving you the basics for you to go off and just enjoy yourselves doing it. I don't want to be too strict and go, it's got to be there. No, you've done it too big. Why is that? There's no fun in that. And there's no fun in me worrying about that kind of thing, especially when I'm doing little demonstrations. This is all about me trying to just put a little bit of spark into you to make you think, oh, I want to do that. I can do that. I can make it look as crazy and as unplanned as Mark has there. And that's half the fun of comics, right? Okay. And a little bit of detail here on his boots and a little ding ding like that. Okay. So, and now I'm going to do something crazy. Let's do his leg kicking out like that. So he's coming out from this side. So that's his front, not front leg. We haven't got front and back legs, but the one that's the closest to us, and this one in the back. And then he's got his boots here like that. Okay. Now, for different angle fans, okay, that are out there. Okay, I know there's a lot of angle fans. I've had a lot of mail from the angle fans out there, and they've said, Mark, we want to talk about different angles. Tell me about angles, Mark. We're fans of angles, okay? So if you're an angle fan, then you are in luck, my friends, okay? So we've got his leg popping out here. This is his shoe. The same with his boots. Now, the same we've got his boot here, which is kind of flat. So that the shoe's flat down on the ground. This one here, just by doing this, I'm now going to show you a different angle, okay? So I'm going to do this shape like that. Another kind of ovally kind of, or baguette shape, a baguette. Yes, you know what a baguette is. It's French bread, baguette. It's a long French bread. It's kind of twisted as well. Oh, bonjour, une baguette, s'il vous plaît, you might ask. If you wanted one, if you wanted two, deux baguettes, s'il vous plaît, okay? Right, okay, bit of French as well, français, okay? So, So now we've done this a little bit to show that's the sole of his shoe. Okay. Some people have diamonds on the soles of their shoes, like my friend Paul Simon. But on this shoe, it's just the sole of the shoe. And so this is the lines here to show that's the bottom of the shoe. That's just kind of my style, but that shows it's the bottom of the shoe, okay, or the bottom of the boot. But if you're wearing shoes, so suddenly you've got all these different dynamic kind of angles. You've got this pow of his arms swirling in. He's looking quite cross, or definitely intense because he's a superhero, okay? And he's got his leg here, and he's balancing himself, and he's got his leg, pow, like that. Look at that, check out that, okay? And you're showing the bottom of his boot with the sole there, so you've got these cool angles. Now, I'm going to draw his hand, his other hand first here. Now, this one has to be kind of like this, and we're going to do like that with his glove, okay? And then we're going to swirl it around like that, okay? And there is his other arm. Now, that obviously this is the foreground, this is the background, but it's smaller anyway, okay? Because this is the one long arm, okay? Man, okay? Now, to add a little bit more motion to it, we all know about the motion and how you do that. So we've got this nice drawing here. It's a cool drawing, and you can see a bit of movement here. You can see that he's moving around. But we all know, because you guys have been listening and watching, that just by doing ding ding like that, and maybe ding ding like that, and maybe ding ding like that, and even a ding ding like that, you add more motion to it, okay? And you could even do like that because he's kind of coming in, okay? So suddenly, just with these few little lines, we've got what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Just 10 lines, 10 simple curvy lines. We've suddenly had more movement and more motion to this. And now you can add some cool. Let's have a look. What else? What are the? Okay, so we've got our drawing here. I'm going to switch pens. It's pen switching time. Everybody switch pens. Okay, right. And so I'm adding a little bit of a red pen here, right? So we can add these little because is he punching crime? We've got these little stars here. He's coming in, and maybe you might have space for some kind of Joker here. Not that character, some kind of villainous Joker, some goofball who's come in, he thinks he can get away with crime. He can't. Crime doesn't pay, okay? So you might have some space for a face there. And I reckon, for the space enthusiasts out there might be some space for me to do something. Shall we see? Who here thinks we've got space for me to do something? Let's have a look. One for me. I'm all out. 1 second. Decanter. One for me. And an extra special one for my homies. Hydrate break. Oh, it's a bonus round. Anything can happen on this show, but you know that already. Okay, so we've got all the little stars, so it shows there's a bit of a dust up going on here. We've not planned this out, so we're really running out of space, but maybe we can get away with it. So here we go. Right, will you be able to see this? I'm going to do this here. I'm going to just do it, and then you can see it, and then you can add this to it if you want. Okay, these little lines here. I'm going to do a zoom in here, right here. These are bigger, okay? I'm going to show you what I'm going to attempt here. So these lines here are basically eyes that are closed. If somebody's coming like that, right, like that, they've clocked you right in the chin. It's not nice when that happens, and I hope that never happens to you, okay? But that's what happens to villains. Oh, yes, sorry, you thought George Clooney had arrived then when I took off my glasses. Oh, hello there. Yes, no, it's me. Hi. Yes, so this is what happens. So the eyes kind of scrunch up, or those are even good scrunch up eyes. If a character is laughing, okay, then you can add these kind of things here, where they're laughing so much the tears are flowing out of their eyes. You add the teeth, obviously, like that, and they're laughing away. Ha, ha, ha. Right, so you can also do that if you want them to look like they've been clobbered in the face, okay? So I'm going to do this now. So I've got a nose, and then I've got the lips like that, okay? The lips like that are coming out, right? Maybe with some sort of, some splitty kind of coming out. Maybe even a tooth. If you've got room for a tooth, draw a tooth coming flying out. That's what the bad guys deserve. They don't deserve teeth, bad guys. They don't deserve teeth. No bad guys deserve teeth. So we've got his face here, and we're tucking it here like that. and he's just been clobbered like that by one long arm man. Okay, you can get away with it a little bit by adding some more of those here, like that. So it really shows he's been pow. Now, you can, if you want, add sound effects, but I would suggest that on comic book covers, you don't add sound effects, okay? If you're a crazy rule breaker, you might have already done that, okay? And I can't stop you. But you've got a lot going on a comic book cover. You've got the title, you've got the drawing, you've maybe, because this is the fantastic first issue, you've got some other words, the name of your comic book company, the price, if you want to put that on there. You're going to have some space for your own name as well to show you signed the cover. So I wouldn't suggest you have a sound effect on your cover. Save the sound effects for the inside of your comics, okay? So for in the inside, like this kind of here, look, block. That's always a good one. Or slip, because he's slipping over on a pizza. I can't recommend this comic enough. And so, yeah, no sound effects on there. This is a pictorial presentation of what's going on inside, okay? And so what is happening on the cover usually goes on inside, but it might be slightly different. So the cover leads you in. You go, wow, that's an amazing cover, an amazing cover. And then you open it up to discover this certain scene. So you've got to have this scene in there somewhere, because that's why people maybe picked it up. They maybe like it, because sometimes I would buy comics just because they look cool. And so if you see the front cover, you think, wow, 2 robots fighting, amazing. Then you open it up, there were no robots fighting in there. You'd be a bit disappointed. So in this one, we definitely know that one long arm man is going to be clobbering a bad guy of some sort. And we can add a little bit more detail here, his hands maybe. You know, I can kind of see those. You might not be able to see those. Hey, you can see those, I think. And so there he is, one long arm man. He's just clobbering crime. So these are the basics of creating the comic book cover. We started with the title, One Long Arm Man. And we then added, so we hit our outside here in the blue. We did all our wording is going to be in this purple. While I'm doing that, because it's fantastic, I'm going to thicken this up here as well, so you can really see that. The fantastic, it's always great to have a first issue. If you have a first issue of a comic book, then you are lucky, because a lot of comic books are worth a lot of money. But I would suggest, don't ever sell your comic books. If you've got a first issue of something that's fantastic, you keep hold of it. You keep hold of it and enjoy it, because if you sell it, you get some money, but then you've not got the comic anymore. See? All right, okay. There's a method in the madness there. So the fantastic first issue. So all the purple, you don't have to do it in different colors, but this is how I can show you the different elements. So the purple was the wording, and then we did the drawing in the orange, okay? Now you can add another little bit. I like to do this kind of thing with my color here. You can add another little color. You might be able to see a little bit of yellow there. And you can add just some little highlights. You could just fill in, just very quickly, just some little bits, you know, get some color in there, you know, just to really exaggerate it there. And we know we've got the nice angle for the Angle fans out there. There's a lot of Angle fans watching, I know. And so you're really showing some depth and perspective, and make your comic book covers dramatic, and make them look crazy, different angles. You could have more than one character on there. Obviously, you don't have to have the text. You don't want to put fantastic first issue. You just do a drawing, okay? You want to make this a little bit smaller, so this character's head could be up here. That's great. But think about everything as you're planning it out. All these elements of comic book making will help you to create something. So yes, so I showed you here the basics of. So we got one long arm man with his big frown, okay? His big frown, his superhero frown, like that, okay? And then we've got this guy here who's laughing. But this is the exact same eyes could be for somebody getting clobbered. I love that word. Everybody shout clobbered. Clobbered! Okay, first person to type clobbered down there gets a prize. Okay? And then we've got the clobbered lips where the drool comes splurting out of his mouth. Okay? Splurting out of his mouth. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Oh, the competition's over. Unlucky. Nobody claimed the prize. There'll be a prize on Friday, though. Incredible Ted. He said clobber. He got in there right at the end. Incredible Ted. You never know what might happen. So we've got the clobbered kind of face. So these are the exact same eyes, but one's clobbered and one's happy, okay? The same way as you could do it like this. You could do little clobber, the little closed one like that, and then on this side you could have one eye open like that, okay, and you could have it coming in from this angle like that, okay. You see where I'm going with that? Yeah, okay, fantastic. So yes, all these different elements that you can then use to apply for your comic book cover. So I want you guys to do, I'm sure you've been drawing along. You might have created your own heroes. It's clobbering time, yes. Who says that? We know who says that. It's the Thing from the Fantastic Four. And yeah, so you might have copied along with this and done exactly what I've done, or your version of it. So you might have done a comic book cover for One Long Arm Man. Okay, you might want to go off now after this show and do a comic book cover for One Long Arm Man issue 2. Okay, which could have the villain this time. So on the first issue, you're going to have, he's coming in and he's just being the man of the hour. On the second issue, as the story unfolds, maybe the villain suddenly, and if you remember, the villain for One Long Arm Man that we drew 2 weeks ago was Dr. Brain. He had the huge brain head, if you remember. He kind of looked like this. Let's quickly draw him down here. I'm going to draw him in blue. He had the big, thicker brow, and then he had the eyes like that, and I think he had a nose like that, you see, and then he had a huge brain head like that, okay, and then his head was coming here, and if you remember, he was like that, and I think he had teeth like that, and he had these kind of spotty kind of bits on his head like that, okay, and he was like that. That was Dr. Brain. So you might bring Dr. Brain into the comic now, and the next Clobber, yes, somebody's shouting Clobber. The next comic might have Dr. Brain taking over. He might have One Long Arm Man imprisoned in cuffs, or he might have somehow, I don't know. He could be tied up with his one long arm wrapped around him. Dr. Brain has used his powers to his mind powers to wrap One Long Arm Man's arm around his body and capture him with his own arm. If you'd like to show me that cover over the next few days, please do. Please share. I want to see what that cover looks like, ladies and gentlemen. Okay? And I also want to see the covers that you've done. Oh, I'm just going down here, but don't worry, I'm crushing my signs. Oh, no. Oh, look at that. So I've got a creased sign. Time for a new sign. You can't say. You want to show me the covers that you've done during this. You might have, right out of the gate, you might have done your own character, your own superhero. So please show me those. And as always, I said it at the start of the show, or the top of the show, as they say. At the top of the show, you can find me on all social media as Mark Makes Comics. That's Mark with a C, okay? Don't be going Mark with a K, because you won't find that guy, okay? He doesn't exist. Okay, and please share, it says it there, please share your drawings. So tag me, you can hashtag me, which is one of these rascals here. Look, that's a hashtag, okay? That's a hashtag. Or you can @ me, it's got an @ in it, like that. That's an @ you can @ Mark Makes Comics or hashtag Mark Makes Comics. Wherever you see fit online, you can do that. So I want to see the colours that you've created. I want to see the progression of, maybe you've decided to do One Long Arm Man issue 2, okay, with Dr. Brain seizing control of One Long Arm Man, right, wrapping One Long Arm Man's arm around him. What a way to go! Last week we nearly hit an hour. It got out of hand. It got out of hand in a great way. So we're back there on Friday. And actually, here's the exciting thing. Sorry, I'm doing a bit of tidying here with my pens. It's very rude of me. But here, make sure you hear them click. Think of Monica. There you go. Think of Monica. There you go. All right. Put me back in the pen. And one last shake of the pens before we finish. Shake the pens. Okay. So yes, this Friday is actually my 10th show. 10 shows. Can you believe it? Where has that time gone? It feels like we've been doing this for years, doesn't it? It feels like we've been out of the real world for years, that's for sure. We're here in the UK, we're on about 4 weeks. Oh, no, we're in our 5th week. This is the end. We're heading towards the end of our 5th week. Some of you have been, there's the folks in China, they were a lot longer, but I think they're starting to do okay now. America, they're at 6 weeks, maybe 7. So we've all been doing this. We've all been doing our bit for the planet and to save ourselves. We're all superheroes, basically. We're all like One Long Arm Man. We're all clobbering the coronavirus. There's an idea. Maybe you could show me a superhero clobbering the coronavirus. There you go. I'd like to see that. So yes, I will be here on Friday for the 10th show with some surprises, some phone-ins. Obviously, the phone is always ready for your calls. Whoever you are out there. Last week we had a gentleman. I think he was called Jim Boswell, and we've also had Tom Hanks, Stevie Wonder. We've had who was the other? John McEnroe, Joan Collins, a lot of big names, a lot of big comic fans. Okay, we've got here 6 weeks for us because Mummy had a cough. Mummy had a cough. It's typical, isn't it? Mummy's got a cough. Everyone's going to stay at home. Oh gosh, I don't know. So, thank you once again for joining in the show. Remember, live drawing each week, 2 p.m. Okay, next Wednesday we'll be doing another demonstration. I'll be uploading another little demo in the next day or so where you can follow that along, and which is how to draw. Let's draw a cool cat. And as always, your support is amazing. Those of you who have been buying and ordering my comics, it's been fantastic. I've been sending out comics each Sunday. I head off to the post office, and if I can, I even drop some locally. I put it on your step. I knock on your door in a place where no one's knocked before to keep everyone safe. I knock on your door. I run back. You open the door. I wave at you from a distance. I go, "There's your comics," and then I get out of there. Okay, there's no time for chit chat. I get out of there, so I could do that to you as well if you were ordering comics, and I can post them out as well. Nice, safe, and the post offices are open, which is amazing. Anytime if you do go into a post office, please thank them. Thank anybody who's still open because they don't have to be. Particularly post offices, they're choosing to be, to keep things going, and that's what we need. And as always, if you are interested, you can support me on Ko-fi.com, where you can buy me a cyber coffee. Ko-fi.com/Mark Makes Comics. You can buy me a cider coffee just as a little gesture. If you've enjoyed what I've been doing today, if it's your first time, great, nice to see you. Thank you for joining us. And if you've been here for every single show, which a lot of you have, that little bit of support really helps keep things going and keeps helping this show ticking along. And I like coffee, even cyber ones. They're even tastier at times. Okay, so thank you again for joining in. It's been great to see you all. I hope you stay well and stay safe. Keep drawing. I want to see those covers. Share them. Share. And I will see you on Friday for Freestyle Friday. Take care. Bye-bye.